Assalamu alaikum, dear students. How are you? Hope you are safe and sound and you are staying at home. I'm Ahmedullah. Today I'm with you to take a class on Bangladesh and Global Studies for Class 9, Chapter 3, topic National Resource. I like to keep you busy for a period of time. So, dear student, let's begin today's class. National resource. Before going to discuss national resource, we should know what is resource. Usually resource means land, house, various types of necessary and durable goods, gold, silver, etc. But in economics, any material or goods having four characteristics, namely utility, insufficiency, visibility and exchangeability, can be termed as resource. That is, to be a thing's resource, it should four characteristics, four qualities. They are utility, insufficiency, visibility and exchangeability. Any goods lacking any of the four characteristics is not resource. To obtain any resource, money has to be spent for any particular thing. To be resource, these four characteristics should have. First of all, utility. What is utility? Utility is the ability of any goods to fulfill the need of human being. In other words, utility is the capacity to satisfy human wants. For example, human beings have the need of clothing, shirt, pant, trouser, shari, etc. have the ability to fulfill the wants of clothes. To be resource, any goods must have utility. Goods without utility have no price and hence it cannot be resource. We do not buy anything with money which does not have any utility. For example, as food satisfies our hunger, clothes cover our nudeness, housing gives us shelter, and nursing cures us from disease. All these have the utility. Utility is the material, mental feeling. Utility can be measured with money. That is, utility is the capacity of the things to fulfill the human needs. So a thing and an object without utility cannot be resource. Second characteristics of resource, insufficiency. Insufficiency means limitation of supply compared to demand. When the supply of any goods or service is less than demand, said goods or service appears as insufficient. The supply of food in every country all the time is less than the demand. So money has to pay for getting food. It means insufficiency of food. Air, water of river, sunlight, sands of desert are abundantly available and they can be obtained free of cost. They can be get without cost. These are not wealth or these are not resource. But rice, jute, clothes, land, gas, instrument, water of the city, water supplied by Wasa, paddy, pen, etc. are the resource because they are insufficient goods for us. So to be resource, second quality of the thing should be insufficiency, and it must be limited than the necessity than the supply. Now third characteristics of the resource, visibility. Resource must have external existence or it must be visible. For example, the internal quality of a person such as experience, knowledge, skill, talent, affection of a mother, capability of a teacher, genius of a poet cannot be resource because they are not visible. Houses, dresses, furniture, etc. are resource because they are visible. So to be resource, anything must be visible. Anything must be visible. Invisible things cannot be resource. Last of all, exchangeability. Exchangeability means the change of ownership of the goods. Price has to pay for getting the goods. If a thing cannot be exchanged in buying and selling, it cannot be a resource. Voice of Michael Jackson, the genius of Rabindranath Tagore, talent of a person skill of a person cannot be resource normally because they are non-transferable, they are non-exchangeable. A television, a plot of land, a house are resource because their ownership can be changed. So to be resource, these characteristics are very important. In conclusion, we can say that things can be resource when it have four characteristics such as utility, insufficiency, visibility, and exchangeability. Now, types of resource. Resources are four types: personal resource, collective resource, national resource, and international resource. Dear student, resource are four types: personal resource, collective resource or social resource, national resource, and international resource. First of all, personal resource. Resource belonging to an individual is called personal resource or personal asset. Personally owned land, house, homestead, furniture, factory, industry, money, ornaments, gold, silver, car, vehicles, goods, goodwill of business, etc. are the personal asset. Though own intellect, talent, personal skill are non-transferable, an individual can create resource by utilizing those qualities. So these are included as personal resource. That is, personal resource belong to an individual. All movable and immovable goods belong to a person are personal resource. Second, collective resource. The resource enjoyed by all the people of the society collectively are called collective resource or social resource. Actually, collective resource or social resource are the local facilities that ensure well-being, welfare of the people. All the citizens have equal rights on this asset, and they have equal obligations for those assets. This property is under the ownership of the government or under the member of the public. School, college, university, hospital, clinic, religious structures such as mosques, temples, churches, recreational facilities such as park, playground, zoo, construction, railway, bridge, embankments, post office, and all natural resources under the state such as forest, rivers, all are the collective resources. All the people of the country, all the people of the society can enjoy them in proportionate way. All the people have equal rights over this resource, and all have equal responsibility for maintenance of this resource. So collective resource are the resource which are enjoyed by the people of the society, all kinds of people of the country. Third, national resource. Mainly national resources are built by government for our use. In wider sense, all the personal resources of all citizens of the country and the collective or social resources of the society are jointly called national resource. Moreover, any qualifying characteristics of the nation such as skill, efficiency of manpower, creative power, technical knowledge, state-owned properties, state-owned vehicles, state-owned buildings, state-owned mineral resources are included in the national properties or in the national resources. That is, national resource is the combination of personal and collective resource. Last of all, international resource. There are some resources that do not belong to any state. Rather, every nation of the world can enjoy them without any obstacle. The sea, the ocean, international rivers, scientific invention, technology, information or international organization, the United Nations are the examples of international resource. So dear student, these are the four types of resource. On standpoints of ownership, resources are four types: personal resource, collective resource, national resource, and international resource. Among these, in this chapter, national resource is very important. Now, source of national resource. There are mainly two sources of national resources. First is the gift of nature. Second is the human created resource. First of all, sources of natural resource. All assets within the geographical boundary of a country on the land and inside land, that is inside soil, are the gift of nature. The natural resources include forest resources such as forest, trees, plants, animals, birds, etc. Second, animal resources such as animals, birds, insects, etc. Mineral resources such as gas, coal, oil, etc. And finally, water resources such as rivers, canals, water bodies, fish, aquatic animals, etc. So, dear student, all the resources that are on land and inside land within the boundary of the country are called natural resource. Second, human created resource. The second source of national resource is human created resource. The citizens of a country use, collect and lift natural resources by using their labor, capital and intellect, and they also create asset by transforming or transferring those items into new products. For example, man cultivate land and produce crops, fruits, flower, trees, etc. They cultivate fish in water. They lift mineral resources from underground and make suitable things for our use. These are the man-made resources. That is, when land is natural resource, crops, fruits, flowers, trees are human created resource. When water is natural resource, fish, aquatic animals are human created resource. When mineral is natural resource, new products, roads, factory, machinery, vehicles, embankments, bridges, and various produces are included in the human resource, because men use the natural resource with their capital, technology, and intellect and create new things. The new created things by human beings are called human created resource. Last of all, actions to be taken to preserve and take wastage of national resource of Bangladesh. How can we preserve and take wastage of our national resource? We have already learned what is national resource, what are the importance of national resources. We should preserve and take wastage of national resources in the following way. First of all, inform the proper authority. There are security guards for maintenance of bridges, important establishment, office, buildings, etc. If those are found insecure, the proper authority has to be informed. Dear student, if we notice the government resources, that is national resources, are somehow misused, we should inform the proper authority, and in this way we can check wastage of national resource. Second, create awareness among the mass people. Awareness should be enhanced so that none can harm those resources, none can harm national resource. If any such misuse is found, the proper authority has to be informed. For example, cutting down trees illegally from preserved forest, hunting birds, beasts, etc. would be considered as the damage of national resource. In this case, we should create awareness among the mass people, and we should stop wastage of national resource. Third, development of national resource. We should try to develop and increase the national resources so that we can use them in our future life. Next, check misuse and wastage of national resource. We should remain aware and active to check the misuse and wastage of collective and national resources. We must be economically using water supplied by the state agency, that is water, electricity, gas, etc. Even we should not use them without need. In this way, we should preserve and check wastage of national resource. Then perform duty. Each citizen should be aware and active performing respective duty to preserve national and collective resources. Regular vigilance. The officer, those are employed concerned for the preservation and supervision of national resources, they have to remain vigilant to perform their duties so that none can misuse and destroy the national resource. Last of all, providing training. The concerned officers, concerned employees are to give necessary training to perform such duties so that they can preserve and take wastage of national resources. Dear student, in this lesson, we have already learned what is resource. Anything having four characteristics is called resource. They are utility, insufficiency, visibility, and extensibility. Resources are four types: national resource, personal resource, collective resource, international resource. There are two sources of national resource: natural resource and human created resource. And last of all, we have learned how to preserve and check wastage of national resources. Dear students, homework for you. The question is, identify some national resources and write the step to preserve them. Identify some national resources and write the steps to preserve them. No more today, dear students. Stay home, stay safe. Keep studying regularly. Pray for me, I will pray for you. You are welcome to my next class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.